Now that I finished my trimming all the way around, and basically, you remember I was at the sewing machine and I started notching, so I finished that just so that we can see the difference between the two. I used my pinking shears to trim this. I left this on there because remember I mentioned that that's just fine. Then I did pink all along that inner curve on the bib because I didn't want to have any pulling. And I went around to here. Then I left the fabric on, came to this corner, did that corner. Now this is the long straight edge. I want to show you. It's really beneficial to just go ahead and leave all this fabric on here because when we turn, we aren't going to have to worry about dealing with a hard to turn or hard to keep turned seam allowance here. It's going to just manage itself. So let's go ahead and get things turned right side out. And you'll find a chopstick can be really helpful for this job. Of course, there's, a lot of tools around the house that you can use. You really just want to make sure that these seams are not, once this is turned, you don't want this to happen when you press before you top stitch, because see there? Don't let there be tucks in there. Make sure that it's turned fully. Same in the corners. And you can actually use a technique called thumb pressing, or get a piece of boning or take your thumb and just scratch on that seam allowance right there, and that will help it lay really nice and still, nice and flat. Same here, if I lay it down and I just scratch that seam allowance, it doesn't bother me. Some people feel like that's like scratching on a chalkboard. I can't do the scratching on the chalkboard noise, but this one isn't irritating to my ears. If it is to yours, then just maybe get yourself a small iron. There's some really tiny ones. They've got just a small point on them. And you can use, so for example, I could probably, what do I have here? I've got this little thing. I could use that. If I have my boning tool handy, I could use that. A credit card, or these kind of freebie things that you get in the mail. Hang on to those because those will also work pretty good. Lots of tools. So when I get to these curves over here, I do like to use a chopstick. See how I'm pushing out on that just to get rid of all those tucks that like to be in there. And for this project, one of my favorite techniques is to do string piecing. This was just actually a window valance. And it had this piecing on there, and I liked it, so I'm using it that way. But we do some string piecing, and that would be really pretty. It is very pretty on these bibs. So I'm just going to check a few more spots. And you notice I really haven't done anything, and look at how that opening is already wanting to lay pretty close to where I want it. And do you notice how I don't have any string tails? See that? That's because, remember, they're way back up in here. This is a back stitch. So same thing on this side. No tail. I don't know about you, but I find string tails very frustrating there because I really like my hole to be hard to find. And those are the telltale sign of where the turning opening was. And so when I forget to do the back up first, I'm always disappointed in myself. So now what we're going to do is we're going to press. Pressing is your best friend. Your top stitching will always look far better if you have taken a minute and pressed your project. On top of that, no pins required. So I've got my iron on the hottest possible setting, and I've got water in it, so it's steaming. And this is going to really cooperate with me because I've done that. So you see now, I don't even have to worry about, even that opening is going to lay really nice. I can put it on my machine and stitch my way around. And I want to show you a really great little trick that I did. Because when these get in the laundry, we don't really want them coming out of the laundry all twisted. They can, I'm going to show you. If we don't stitch them down, this can pull apart. Well, I did such a good job ironing it, it doesn't want to. There we go. you know, and then they'll come out all wonky, and then the mom has to figure out how to straighten it out. You know, it's just one more annoyance when you're doing laundry. And I remember having a baby, and laundry was just, you know, it's just one more job that's hard to fit into your day. So let's make it easy for the mamas. So what I did, let's see if we can get it to show. I've got 3 rows of stitching. This row is essentially down the middle. So from top to bottom, straight down the middle. And then there's 1 on each side. Now, how in the world did she do that, right? And you know, I'm all about quick and easy. We're not trying to, you know, make a lot of work for ourselves. So I'm going to go over to the sewing machine and show you exactly how I did that without any work at all.